All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good afternoon. Sunny, 55 degrees at 4:20. I'm Paul Murnane. Here's what's happening. Praise for the daring rescue of that American F-15 crew members inside Iran this weekend. President Trump veers from threats to optimism at an offer from Iran on the war. Late details on what we're hearing from the White House today, just ahead. Need a little room for that growing family? There's word that rent for 3-bedroom homes in the city is in an upward spiral. Fences, they say, make for good neighbors, good fences, but there's a ruckus over the Fed's new fence in Lower Manhattan, blocking the views of Lady Liberty. The inclusion of Kanye is costing a London music festival some of its top sponsors. Will a touch of Lady Gaga music for the next Devil Wears Prada unleash our song of the summer? Time will tell. Heading down to 42 for tonight's low in the city. Tomorrow night, we're down to freezing in town and down to the 20s in the suburbs. Wins News Time 421. Here's Greg Rice.
Now, here is what you need to know about the bridges and the tunnels. The city-bound George Washington Bridge, it's going to run you over an hour right now to the upper level of the George Washington Bridge. Lower level is only slightly better for you at this point. Getting out of town, it's already messy from all fronts. West side slows from the 70s on up. Riverside Drive and Broadway do better. On the east side of Manhattan, the Harlem River Drive just a standstill from the 130s, and that's after you tangle with the FDR. North Van Deegen, best out of the Bronx. Lincoln Tunnel back to Jersey, 45 minutes from 11th, better from 9th. The inbound Lincoln's about 15 minutes. Holland Tunnel, 45 out on the Jersey side. Newark Bay, better in either direction. Clearview, Frogs Neck, by far the best of it across the Upper East River. Through Brooklyn, eastbound Belt's a mess. Flatbush Avenue to Erskine Street. The westbound worst of it from Knapp Street to the Verrazano. Staten Island bound Verrazano, upper level is a mess. And then the westbound Staten Island Expressway crawls all the way on out until you get past South Avenue. In Linden, 1 and 9, a mess either way through Southwood Avenue. Don't get cute here. Pay the extra bucks. Take the turnpike south of the Goethals Bridge either way. It is going to be worth every penny. Greg Rice, 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
Iran wanting a permanent end to the U.S.-Israeli war, and they want it now. Iran state media announcing the rejection of a ceasefire ahead of tomorrow night's 8 p.m. deadline laid down by President Trump to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. The White House and Pentagon offering new details, meanwhile, on the harrowing rescue over the weekend of the missing crew member on that downed U.S. jet.
Both members of the crew ejected from the aircraft and landed alive. On Iranian soil, I immediately was asked to make a decision. I ordered the U.S. Armed Forces to do whatever was necessary to bring our brave warriors back home.
There were no American casualties in the rescue mission, though they came under heavy Iranian fire.
A risky decision, because we could have ended up with 100 dead as opposed to 1 or 2. It's a hard decision to make. But in the United States military, we leave no American behind. We don't do it.
Meanwhile, it's a thumbs down when it comes to a ceasefire with Iran. Iran's state-run news announcing the rejection, saying Tehran wants a permanent end to the war. President Trump hauled, however, a 10-point plan submitted by Iran, reportedly through Pakistani mediators, a significant proposal. But Iran, he said, cannot have nuclear weapons. He has set a deadline of 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow for the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. The head of Iran's diplomatic mission in Cairo told the AP that they will only accept an end to the war that comes with guarantees that, quote, we won't be attacked again. He said Iran and Oman are now working on a mechanism for administering the strait. Keep it right here. 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM, and we're following the story as well at 1010wins.com. The struggle is real, and it's getting worse for renters out there that are looking for family-sized spaces across New York City.
Affordability is an ages-old issue for young families in New York City, but the recent rent spike for a 3-bedroom seemed astronomical to Tom, who lives in Lincoln Square.
I mean, I don't understand how a family for a 3-bedroom apartment could afford $14,000 a month. That seems like a lot.
It's not, according to William, who moved to the Upper West Side to be closer to his grandchild.
They have a 1-bedroom, 1.5, the dining area, also they convert it into a small bedroom, put an aquarium to kind of separate from the living room, so they are stuck.
3-bedroom apartments on the Upper East Side are $12,500, a near 71% jump from the end of last year. Marla Diamond, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM on the Upper West Side.
Police say that she didn't stop at the checkout on the way out. So now it's legal trouble for a woman from Brooklyn.
Authorities say the 41-year-old suspect's crime spree was going on for 8 months. Magdalena Sampson is accused of going into stores, including Marshall's, and stealing $50,000 worth of items. Detectives say this happened at 27 stores across Nassau County. Police say at each store she managed to leave without paying for the items. Sophia Hall, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM on Long Island.
Sampson pleading not guilty in a weekend court appearance to one count of grand larceny. 55 degrees here in Manhattan. We're heading down to a low of 42 tonight. By the way, tomorrow night down to about the freezing mark in the city and 20s in the burbs. Up next, time for Bloomberg Money Watch.
Gains on Wall Street today after the White House doubled down on tomorrow night as the deadline for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz or face stepped-up attacks. Dow gained 165, NASDAQ up 117, S&P rose 29, helping stocks hold their gains. Hope that the market downturn might be close to bottoming out. At least that is Morgan Stanley's guess. The firm is recommending clients add to their portfolios. Oil futures rose almost 1% a barrel today as traders bet the Strait will not reopen by tomorrow night. And infrastructure could be destroyed, upending oil flows for far longer than the end of fighting, whenever that is. I'm Andrew O'Day, Bloomberg Money Watch on 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
1010 Wins. I love that I get the news without the bias.
I totally trust what they say.
All news, all the time.
1010 Wins.
On 92.3 FM.
Join the movement to provide hot meals and stable housing for those in Brooklyn who need it the most. Learn more at neighborstogether.org. That's neighborstogether.org. Wins News Time, 4:30.
Good afternoon, I'm Lori Madden. One of the most scenic viewing spots in the city has become less than Instagram ready, and residents and others in Battery Park want a fence taken down.
You can still see Lady Liberty. You might just have to raise up your phone or put the lens through one of the holes in the 7-foot fence to get that unobstructed view.
We think it's too tall, too long, and that it remains for too many hours up.
Says Paula Reckart with the Battery Conservancy. Mitch Malloy, visiting from London, says it feels restricting.
I don't think it represents what New York is like. America's about freedom, right?
Chris Doherty, visiting from Arizona, is okay with it.
I would much rather be safer than just a little fence blocking our view. We didn't even consider it blocking our view.
The National Park Service says it's about security for the people who take the ferry to visit the statue. Mac Rosenberg, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM at Battery Park.
Wins News Time, 4:31. Let's get you where you need to go. Here's Greg Rice.
Well, here is what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Citybound George, about an hour on the upper 45. On the inbound lower west side, slow but moving out of the 70s. Doesn't move great. Harlem River Drive, a standstill out of the 130s. If you're on the west side, though, Riverside Drive and Broadway, take those as far uptown as you can before you hop on the west side highway. You can cut out a lot of the noise. Northbound Deegan, that's the best ride out of the Bronx. Lincoln Tunnel out of the city right now. We're looking at least a 45-minute ride from 11th, better from 9th. Now, the inbound Lincoln, that's an extra 20 minutes. You want to get into town under the river, you go to the inbound New York Bay Extension. As the inbound Skyway at the Holland is a mess. Outbound side of the Holland Tunnel, that's a 45-minute proposition from all approaches out of the lower Manhattan side of things. Now, back in Jersey, just enough nuisances to ruin your afternoon. Northbound, the New Jersey Turnpike Western Spur getting up towards the area of Route 3 and the Meadowlands. We're looking at a crash in the left lane. Southbound Eastern Spur, very slow getting past 495 and 1 and 9, awful either way through Linden, through Southwood Avenue. Stay with the Turnpike. North and south through Linden, the New Jersey Turnpike just treats you a whole lot better. Greg Rice, 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
Let's get a check now of your AccuWeather forecast. Here's meteorologist Brian Thompson.
Lori, it's been a pretty sunny day across the area. Starting to see a few more clouds mixing on in, and as we head into tonight, will even be a couple of showers around. We're seeing some showers across parts of Pennsylvania on the radar. We'll continue to watch those as they move to the east. So a low of 43 tonight. Again, there could be a shower or two around with a partly to mostly cloudy sky. Maybe even a leftover shower into early tomorrow, especially across the Hudson Valley. Might even have a few wet snowflakes mixed in too. Otherwise, clouds and sun and a chilly breeze tomorrow, a high near 50. Mainly clear and cold tomorrow night. The breeze will diminish, low 32 in the city. It'll be in the 20s in many suburbs. A sunny sky on Wednesday, but staying quite cool. Wednesday's high 49. Not as chilly, though, by Thursday. Mostly sunny at a high of 54. Right now, it is mostly sunny. We're at 55 degrees. The Midtown going down to 43 tonight. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on New York's weather station. 1010 winds on 92.3 FM.
Winter really took a toll on the roads in our area. You know that as you dodge the potholes. And Governor Hochul has launched a new statewide effort to plug up the tire busters.
Our economy requires our delivery trucks, our commercial vehicles, our large tractor trailers to be able to go smoothly without disruption and at the speeds that are allowed by the speed limit, not having to go under speed because of potholes.
Now, throughout the 5 boroughs, major projects include 11 miles of the BQE and the Cross Bronx Expressway, 17 miles of the West Shore Expressway and Korean War Veterans Parkway in Staten Island. And on Long Island, the Wantagh Parkway is getting the pothole repair treatment. Pepsi has already pulled out, but other sponsors of London's Wireless Music Festival, to be headlined by Ye, the rapper formerly known as Kanye West, are feeling the heat, including Budweiser and PayPal.
The top sponsors of the big London Music Festival have pulled out after Prime Minister Keir Starmer expressed serious concern that Ye would be headlining the 3-day event. Pepsi and Diageo both yanking their support. Following last week's announcement, a number of British politicians and faith groups called for the rapper to be denied a visa. They are skeptical of his January apology for past anti-Semitic pro-Nazi remarks. Starmer, whose wife and children are Jewish, apparently shared that skepticism. Not clear now if the Wireless Festival can go ahead and if Ye would even be allowed into the country for it.
Correspondent Vicki Barker. Melissa Gilbert speaking out about the charges against her husband, fellow actor and director Timothy Busfield. Busfield has been charged with criminal sexual contact with a minor.
The last person in the world who would hurt a child. And believe me, if I thought for a second that Tim Busfield hurt a child, he'd have a lot more to worry about than prison.
No moments of doubt?
Not for a second. I know this man in my bones. No one knows him better than I do. I know literally everything about him.
Gilbert made her comments on Good Morning America. Busfield is facing the charges in New Mexico, where he has pleaded not guilty to accusations that he inappropriately touched a child on the set of the TV show The Cleaning Lady. He was directing the show at the time. 55 degrees now, partly sunny here in the city. We are going down to 43 degrees tonight. The 1010 Wins Pickleball Tournament in Wayne, New Jersey is filling up. Don't get shut out. Register now at 1010wins.com/pickleball.
The Newswatch never stops. This is 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good afternoon. 55 degrees at 4:40. I'm Lori Metten, and here's what's happening.
In the United States military, we leave no American behind. We don't do it.
President Trump on the rescue of a U.S. airman in Iran as he promises new strikes on Iran if they don't agree to a ceasefire and reopen the Strait of Hormuz by 8 p.m. tomorrow. A 5-year-old boy is in stable condition this afternoon after falling from a third-floor window in the Bronx. A new report says vapes have replaced cigarettes as the most dangerous source of nicotine poisoning for toddlers. If you have tickets for tomorrow and Wednesday's Mets games, the start times moved up to 4:10 p.m. because of cold and windy conditions. Pink Floyd providing more than just a soundtrack for the Artemis II astronauts today as they break Apollo 13's distance record and head to the far side or dark side of the moon. 1010 Winds AccuWeather says partly to mostly cloudy tonight with a stray shower around, low 43. Clouds and sun with a chilly breeze tomorrow, high 50, but the temperature's going to plunge down to 32 tomorrow night. Winds News Time 441 from the Mercedes-Benz of Edison.com Traffic Center. Let's get you where you need to go. Here's Greg Rice.
Well, here is what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. City-bound side of the George Washington Bridge, about an hour to the upper, 30 to 40 on the inbound lower, where we're starting to see some incremental improvement. On the West Side Highway, not better yet. Still loaded out of the 70s on up if you're married to the West Side. Riverside Drive and Broadway, and then you hop on the West Side further uptown. Harlem River Drive a standstill, but only from the 140s on up. Northbound Deegan, best out of the Bronx. The Lincoln's about 30 minutes in. 45 out from 11th, better from 9th. Holland Tunnel, that's a 45-minute Jersey-bound ride on the Jersey side. The Newark Bay, better either way. Jersey Turnpike, deal with the Eastern Spur. It's not great. Western Spur is worse. Northbound of Western Spur at 16W, a crash on the left lane. Southbound getting worse, and then more southbound trouble closer to Kearney on the Western Spur of the New Jersey Turnpike. Again, the Eastern's not great. It's the lesser of two evils. Clearview, Throgs Neck, best of it across the Upper East River. The Brooklyn-bound Brooklyn Bridge still a mess out of Lower Manhattan, as is the Battery Park Underpass en route to the Battery Tunnel. The Manhattan Bridge to Williamsburg, better home out of Lower Manhattan and cheaper as well. Greg Rice, 10.